Hi everyone, and welcome to Noodle Journey. For today's review, I'm going to look at some Indian instant noodles. This is Maggi's 2-minute noodles masala flavor. Yeah, so this is going to be my first experience with Indian instant noodles, and of course my first experience with Maggi as a brand. I had planned on reviewing something completely different for today, but I saw one of my friends in a neighboring state this past weekend, and she had found these and gave me a couple packs. You see, these are probably the most popular Indian instant noodles in the world, and yet for some reason I can't find a single market in my area that sells these, even though they're distributed in the USA by the mega corporation Nestle. So it was really awesome to finally get these because I've been looking for literally any of Maggi's instant noodle products for a while now. These are supposedly ubiquitous worldwide, but I guess I just have bad luck where I live. Now, at the risk of talking too much, I do need to say that there's an elephant in the room with these. About 8 years ago, there was a huge scandal where it was found that Maggi noodles contained excessive levels of lead, and they had to recall millions of packs of noodles. Not cool. These are still incredibly popular, but that lead issue has left a bad taste in some people's mouths, pun intended, I guess. And you will see that scandal inevitably brought up when someone online talks about these noodles. These are now confirmed to be safe to eat, but no one would blame you if you didn't want to take a chance on these, especially given that this is not the first product that Nestle has been associated with that has been recalled due to safety issues. So anyway, if you're still watching this review after that warning, assuming you have a store in your area that sells these, they're super cheap, around 50 cents to $1 per pack, and you can get them in multi-packs, and you can find them in bulk online, but usually with an upcharge. These also come in a spicy variety and possibly even cup form if you can find them. And these are fairly small packs, 2.46 ounces, and they only take less than a cup of water to cook, so this is kind of a snack or side dish rather than a full meal. Now, as far as what these are supposed to taste like, if you hadn't figured it out from the name masala, we've got a powdered masala spice blend that gets mixed with the water you cook the noodles in. And here in the USA, we tend to use the terms masala and curry powder interchangeably, and that's not really accurate from what I've learned about Indian food. As always, if I get any of this wrong, please correct me in the comments, but masala refers to the spice blend you find here and in a lot of Indian cooking. There's an interesting article I read in preparation for this video that I will link in the description that basically says the term curry powder doesn't really mean anything to Indians. It's just a catch-all for the spices you throw into a curry gravy dish. But then other folks are insistent that masala is a warmer blend of spices while curry powder is an earthier blend and does indeed exist in Indian cooking. So I don't know who's correct. I'm not Indian and I don't have a dog in this fight, but what's in the ingredients here might be what we Americans erroneously think of as curry powder. And with that segue, I'll just open this up and tell you what's inside. Oh, and before I forget, sodium is a reasonable 970 milligrams for this whole serving here. So here's our noodle block, and these are thin and fragile, but they have kind of a glossy sheen to them. And then we've got the masala spice mix, with Maggi has trademarked as its Taste Master blend. The package doesn't differentiate between the noodle ingredients and the spice packet, but all told, we've got peanut protein, onion powder, coriander, chili powder, turmeric, garlic powder, and cumin, plus a catch-all spices listed, which probably means a few secret ingredients. So these appear to be vegan, and this green dot on the packaging confirms it's at least vegetarian, but stay away from these if you have a peanut allergy. I have no idea how spicy these will be, but I'm guessing a little bit. So let's cook. And we're back. I honestly didn't know if this was going to turn into a sauce or a soup. It is definitely somewhere in between. And the noodles did suck up a lot of liquid. I should mention here that I've become a fan of Indian food in recent years thanks to my wife, who adores Indian food and got me to try things I thought I didn't like. And what I'm smelling here reminds me of a fairly typical spice blend I might find at one of my local Indian restaurants, and that's definitely not a bad thing. So let's give this a whirl. All right, so I wasn't able to get a whole lot of that sauce broth on my spoon because it's not much, but I've got a good idea of what this tastes like now. Pretty interesting. I'll start with the noodles. I'm never sure what to expect with a thin noodle that cooks this fast. They plumped up really well, but they have kind of an interesting texture. They're chewy but soft, if that makes sense. Not my favorite. It's an interesting texture. It's not bad. It doesn't necessarily feel cheap, but if you're used to instant noodles from other countries, then you're going to be a little bit surprised by how these feel in your mouth. Almost a little brittle. It's hard to describe. I don't hate them. I don't love them. I think they're probably worth 6 out of 10. Now, as far as spiciness is concerned, yes, these do have a little heat from the chili powder. I don't think it's very strong. And if you can handle something in between a mild and medium heat level from your average Indian takeout place, I think you'll be okay with these. I don't know how much spicier the spicy version of this would be, but I think for this basic version, it's worth a 2.5 out of 10 as a spiciness score. And now the overall flavor. The spice blend here is really tasty. It's nice and aromatic. It has a great combination of earthiness and savoriness. The garlic has a nice bit of punch to it. It's really very well rounded. And the flavor from the chili pepper is balanced and not overpowering. Yeah, this is pretty good. I can see why this is so popular. I've seen complaints that this recipe has changed over the last decade or two, and that these aren't as good as they once were. Maybe lead tastes delicious, who knows. But I have no frame of reference for what they used to taste like, and so going off of what I'm eating right now, I'll just say that I like the flavor. Some ramen snobs on Reddit think that Maggi masala is disgusting. It's not. They're wrong. Don't be dramatic. It just might not be what you think of when you think of instant noodles from the rest of Asia. I think the only downsides for me are really the noodles, like I already talked about, which are just okay, and the portion size and the lack of any garnishes or dried vegetables. But by the same token, this is intended to be a snack, and it costs less than $1, so adding your own stuff to this wouldn't exactly break the bank. So we've got an attractive price point with a tasty spice blend, but with some average noodles and a very simplistic presentation. And this is tough to score because I want more out of it, but I also like how cheap they are. Let's go with a 6.5 out of 10 as an overall score. I think if you're expecting something a little fancy, you're not going to find it in a 50-cent pack of noodles. But if you don't mind that the noodles are just okay, and you want some wonderful masala flavor for a great price, and you don't care about the recall 8 years ago, this is worth seeking out. I enjoy this for what it is as a snack, and will definitely buy more if I ever find some in my area. If you spot this in a store and you like Indian food, give this a try. That's it for this review. I have no idea if and when I'll find any of Maggi's other varieties, but I will try to do so. And if you try these, let me know what you think. Or if you're already one of Maggi's millions of fans, tell me in the comments how you like to spruce these up. Please remember to like this video and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you on the next episode of Noodle Journey.